in the squadron. They called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, well, hello. I'm opening another front in my media kingdom. Substack. Greg Kelly is on Substack, and that gigantic piece I put out about Bill Stevenson, my friend who was married to Jill Biden, who is now in a Delaware prison cell, accused of murdering his wife. I do not believe it. There are a million things that are wacko about this case. I listed them all in that piece there, and I think that our man is being unfairly persecuted, prosecuted, and I think it's because he became a big-time Trump supporter. He endorsed Trump. He basically came out against Biden, and they did it all in 2024 and a little bit of that in 2020. And then when nobody was looking, well, I think the man is being framed. And we know that this kind of thing has happened before. December 28th, a call is placed to 911, a domestic disturbance of some kind. Cops come. The wife is dead. Bill Stevenson's wife is dead. Now, how did she die? We don't know. We still don't know. There's no autopsy report, for crying out loud. He walked around free for a couple of weeks, and then they threw the cuffs on him. We don't have the indictment. We don't have the autopsy. That's crazy stuff. And because it's Delaware, which is this weirdo county far away, and there's no media supervision. There's no any kind of supervision. And I don't like it. And that man should be free. And I'm doing everything I can, which isn't, quite frankly, but maybe somebody who reads it. So how do you actually find my Substack? I guess you could Google me, Greg Kelly Substack. Let's just see how you do it, because it's not like it's one of those addresses that I don't want to say. I don't even know what it is. Greg Kelly Substack. Let's see if it pops up. Yeah, it pops right up. Greg Kelly Substack, because it's gregkelly.us.substack.com. I don't want to say gregkellyus.substack.com. I don't want to say all that. Just Google Greg Kelly Substack. And there it is. And oh, by the way, it's free. You know, some people try to charge money on this, and I may do that at some point. Hey, momentarily, we're going to be hearing from Caroline Leavitt, an update with this Iran war situation. President Trump is very confident. He thinks this thing is going to be brought in for a landing soon. You know, there are a lot of episodes so far in the Trump administration. A lot of things have happened. And I think this is going to be yet another episode, another thing that happens. And a year from now, it'll look like ancient history. Oh, my gosh. Do you remember when we were at war with Iran? One way you can kind of tell is it's just not permeating your daily life. It's not. It's off on the side. These missions are being flown. We have subdued them. The conversations that are happening now, well, we don't know for sure, President Trump says. Could President Trump deceive us for political reasons? You know, all is fair. They say in love and war. I don't believe the first one, but definitely in war. You can have deception. You can have information operations. It would be nice if we had some reporters in Tehran, right? We have no media presence there. None whatsoever. Hey, you know who I don't like at all? The governor of Kentucky, Beshear, is that his name? Who in the hell does this guy think he is, Beshear? You think you're going to be president someday? No, it doesn't work that way. You know why he's on my list right now? All weekend long, he spent bashing J.D. Vance. And why is he doing that? J.D. Vance, well, let's face it, J.D. Vance could be the 2028 nominee, and there's a lot of folks saying that this guy has political talent, Beshear, even though I don't see it that way. He just said some really nasty things about our friend J.D. Vance. I think he's terrible. One thing I know about Andy Beshear, he wasn't the first Beshear to be governor. His father was governor, for crying out loud. His father was governor of Kentucky, and now he's governor of Kentucky. I don't know for sure, but I would imagine he's a rich kid, right? A rich kid Democrat. There is something so fundamentally unmanly about being a Democrat. There's just something that doesn't add up. It's not what you're supposed to. Why? The only thing I could see happening is if they want to get in with the liberal women, right? If they want to like hook up with liberal women, is that why you become a Democrat? There could be that. He is emerging as a real contender for the Democrat nomination. Now, Carlos, I barely even know what this guy sounds like. And here's another problem with him. Nobody knows what he looks like. He's the most indistinct looking guy you've ever seen. He is, I'm staring at his face right now, and then I close my eyes. I have no idea what I just looked at. He is incredibly bland. Hey, I know we don't pick based on looks, but he's got the charisma of Ned Schneebly from School of Rock. Remember that? Oh, this is Ned Schneebly. All right, now turn this around. This is who he is, and he's saying controversial things to get noticed. And granted, it's working. All right, but he made fun of J.D. Vance. Oh, J.D. Vance changed his name. Well, J.D. Vance grew up with nothing. J.D. Vance had an abusive, weirdo family life. J.D. Vance can do whatever he wants. J.D. Vance made it on his own. Did you? Andy Bashir. All right, what does Andy Bashir sound like? Go ahead. That? Oh, shoot. Oh, my bust. All right, it's not that important. But we'll get around to it. In the meantime, who saw the No Kings protest yesterday? No Kings. No Kings. That is the silliest name. Also, I don't know what it means. Every time I hear it, what does that mean? Are they trying to say that President Trump is like a king? Cut one, if you don't mind, please. Cut one.
New Yorkers were among the millions of people nationwide taking part in No Kings demonstrations, rallying against the war with Iran, immigration tactics, and Trump administration's actions. Dave Carlin was along the march route. He has a look at the protesting here and elsewhere.
No Kings demonstrators in New York City made their demands with plenty of noise. Costumes and sign holding were encouraged in a coast-to-coast campaign to push back against President Donald Trump's actions and policies.
We're just here to show up for our communities and our neighbors. Everyone is welcome here in New York, and that this is unacceptable.
The march was from Columbus Circle through Times Square and onto 34th Street.
That people are waking up to the bad things that are going on.
We're out here to make this country a better place.
This is the third No Kings march in New York City after previous rallies in June and October of last year. The Saturday rallies were estimated at around 3,000 of them in cities large and small. And they came as President Trump said he is looking to wind down the war with Iran. The White House dismissed the protests, saying the only people who care about these Trump derangement therapy sessions are the reporters who are paid to cover them. The rally with flagship status was this one in St. Paul, Minnesota, the state where federal agents fatally shot 2 people. Center stage was this performance.
City of flame fought fire.
Oh, no, Bruce.
Musician Bruce Springsteen, actress Jane Fonda, and more joined speakers protesting ICE agents and immigration tactics. In New York City, actor Robert De Niro spoke out.
We still believe in the core American values of justice, equality, decency, and kindness, because we're going from the streets to the ballot box, and because we all deserve a country with no king.
At the end of the day, we can protest as much as we want, but until we go to that ballot box, that second Tuesday after the first Monday of November every 2 years, nothing's going to change.
And there were also Saturday demonstrations in other countries, from Europe to Latin America to Australia, some of them with the title No Tyrants instead of No Kings, with a recurring demand for a world free from wars.
Free from wars. Not that there have been any wars under Democrats, right? Most of them have been under Democrats. Hey, the other thing there, yeah, it is free. You are free to protest, but you're not free to take over streets. And a lot of them this weekend took over streets. And the way the NYPD rolls these days, that's somehow okay. You can take over a street for your protest. No, you can't. That's against the law. You can't let that happen. And they do let it happen. And they actually facilitate it happening, especially when they agree with the subject, right? If they agree with the protesters. Think they're going to let the Proud Boys take over 8th Avenue? By the way, the Proud Boys are good guys. They are not white supremacists. It's one of the biggest, dopiest lies around. All right, so Andy Bashir. How old is he, by the way? You know, pretty soon we're going to have a president who's younger than me. And I do not like that idea. But it happens. It happens. It happens to everybody sooner or later. Oh, my. Yeah, he is young. He's in his late 40s. But don't be impressed. His dad was the governor of the same damn state. Let's find out about this jerk. Well, first of all, here's what he sounds like. This is the big hope for the Democrats in 2028. Go ahead.
I am. You can't be governor that much longer. So the question arises, what are you going to do next? You just signed on. You have a Sirius XM show. We were just talking about that during the commercial break. Let me put the question this way. What would you be doing differently right now if you definitely were not about to run for president?
I'm not sure how to diagnose that question. What I'd say is right now I'm trying to speak reason into chaos. I'm trying to be a voice of common sense, common ground, and getting things done. That's where I want the Democratic Party to be.
Stop.
But that's where
he sounds a little bit prissy, doesn't he? He sounds prissy to me. And he kind of looks prissy, too. What are you shaking your head at? What?
What's prissy?
Prissy? Effeminate. Weak. Wimpy. Keep going.
Common ground and getting things done. That's where I want the Democratic Party to be. But that's where I want the Republican Party to be. That's where I want independents to be. When we're done with this current presidency, we need to do more than just move past Donald Trump. We need to heal this country. We can't continue this us versus them for any longer. We need our McCarthyism moment where we can come back together. So, this year, trying to do what I can to be a reasonable voice. Next year, head of the Democratic Governors Association. We're going to win in a lot of places and change the map. After that, I'm going to sit down, and if my family thinks that I'm somebody that can help heal this country, I'll consider it. But if there's somebody else, I'll be for them, because at the end of the day, I care more about the United States than any title that I could have.
Ah, shucks. Shucks. He's just people. No, he's not. Andrew Graham Bashir was born November 29th, 1977 in Lexington, Kentucky, the son of Jane Bashir and Steve Bashir. He was raised in Lexington, graduated from Henry Clay High School. His father, an attorney and politician, was governor of Kentucky from 2007 to 2015. After high school, Bashir studied political science and anthropology at Vanderbilt University, where he was a member of Sigma Chi fraternity. He earned a Bachelor of Arts, and then in 2000, seems too recent, and then attended the University of Virginia Law School. Then what did he do? What did he do then? Well, let's see here. In 2001, he was a summer associate at White & Case law firm. That's a big law firm. That's where his father, my father, of course, clerked. My father read the law at White & Case. Bashir worked at White & Case in Washington, D.C. for 2 years after his graduation from UVA. Yawn. In 2005, he was hired by the law firm Seitz & Harbison, where his father was a partner. Boy, this is a guy who's really his own man, right? Really branching out. Let's see what else. He represented the developers of the Bluegrass Pipeline, which would have transported natural gas liquid through Kentucky. The project was controversial. Critics voiced environmental concerns and objections to the use of eminent domain for the pipeline. That means we're taking you down your house, whether you like it or not. His father's office maintained that there was no conflict of interest with the son's representation. His dad was governor around this time. Bashir also represented the Indian company Uflex, which sought $20 million in tax breaks from his father's administration, drawing criticism from ethics watchdogs over potential conflict of interest. You think? Wow, that's what I'm going to go into the law for, to get Indians more tax breaks. What kind of money grab is this? In 2013, while he was working at Seitz & Harbison, Lawyer Monthly named Bashir its Consumer Lawyer of the Year. Talk about a phony trophy. In November 2013, Bashir announced his candidacy for election for Attorney General to succeed Democrat Jack Conway, an open seat. All right, a couple of things here. He's doing this. His old man is the governor. He's doing it. It's easy. He defeated Republican Whitney Westerfield. Ooh, close race, though. 50.1% to Westerfield's 49.9%. And he just did a bunch of things. This guy is a pretty boy layabout. J.D. Vance kicked ass. No contest, sir. No contest. How dare you think you can be my president? Go home. Stay in Kentucky. Mitch McConnell land. I'll be right back.
Greg Kelly
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
We want to go right to the White House. That Caroline Leavitt just took the podium, and there might be some dynamite stuff coming from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the address of the White House. Go ahead.
It seems we are getting word that most transportation safety administration officers have received their
not
back
her.
pay
That's the
shutdown.
lady
Caroline
from
Leavitt
Fox.
is briefing. I'm sure we'll hear more about it.
This
there we
Holy
go.
Week, President Trump and the First Lady are joining in prayer with Christians celebrating the resurrection of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. On Wednesday, the president will host an Easter lunch in the East Room with faith leaders across the country to celebrate Holy Week. With respect to the ongoing major combat operations in Iran, Operation Epic Fury is moving ahead successfully and according to plan. With each passing day, the United States military is increasing its advantage over the terrorist Iranian regime. More than 11,000 enemy targets have been struck to date, each strike further crippling the regime's offensive and defensive capabilities and creating more leverage for the United States and our allies. Compared to the start of the operation, Iran's ballistic missile and drone attacks are down by roughly 90%. The United States is also decimating the Iranian regime's navy. We have destroyed more than 150 of their naval vessels so far, including 92% of their largest vessels. The Iranian Navy has no vessels operating in major regional waterways and no ability to project naval power, which is why they've been assessed as combat ineffective. Our military continues to obliterate Iran's defense industrial base, with nearly 70% of their missile, drone, and naval production facilities and shipyards damaged or destroyed thus far, significantly reducing their ability to pose future threats in the region. U.S. and Israeli joint forces control the skies and have asserted air dominance over Iran, completing more than 11,000 successful combat flights thus far. The trend remains clear. The United States is conducting more intense, targeted strikes with devastating combat power with each passing day to destroy the threat posed by the Iranian terrorist regime, as President Trump sought out to do a month ago.
Well, all right. It's a little bit repetitive. That number hasn't changed, 90%. I'd like to see a little bit more progress in those numbers, actually. We're not being told everything, and that's okay. That's what happens in war. Maybe we need an embedded correspondent there, like me.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This year is going to fly by, and everybody, really, this would be wonderful if Bruce Blakeman could win the race for governor. I think it would be awesome. I think he'd be a great governor. He looks great. He sounds great. He's conservative. He's MAGA. Now, if you don't mind, I want to dip back into that White House briefing in the White House press room right now. Caroline Leavitt taking a question.
People in this room have a responsibility to report on cases like this because it just exemplifies why the president believes so strongly in deporting illegal aliens from our communities. And thank you for the question. Dasha, go ahead.
Caroline, I have two questions, one on Iran and one on DHS funding. On Iran, the president has said that the administration is talking to a new and more reasonable regime. How confident are you that they are legitimate and have enough grip on power? Marco Rubio said earlier that he's not sure and it's not clear whether they will be in power. So are you also talking to other factions? As the president is trying to make a deal, how do you ensure that you're making a deal with the people who can actually implement it?
Well, that's part of the ongoing process that's taking place and the ongoing negotiations. Of course, anything that they say to us privately will be tested, and we will ensure that they are being held accountable to their word. And if they are not, the president has laid out the military consequences that the Iranian regime will see if they don't hold true to the words that we are hearing privately behind the scenes. When the president says more reasonable, again, these folks are appearing more reasonable behind the scenes privately in these conversations than perhaps some of the previous leaders who are now no longer on planet Earth because they lied to the United States and they strung us along in negotiations, and that was unacceptable to the president, which is why many of the previous leaders were killed. So again, this is another historic opportunity for Iran to do the right thing, to rid themselves of their nuclear ambitions and to come to a deal with this president and the administration, or again, they will see the grave consequences of the United States Armed Forces, which they are continuing to see every day throughout this operation.
On DHS, how long can the administration keep paying TSA without action from Congress? And not to be hyperbolic, but given the airports were really the pain point that was pushing both sides to talk to each other. I mean, do you see a way for DHS to reopen? Is it possible that this keeps going through the midterms?
Well, we certainly hope so. I mean, of course, the president just can't keep signing presidential memorandums and proclamations every time Congress fails to do its job, and every time Democrats are holding our entire country hostage, picking and choosing which programs and agencies they want to fund just because they don't like this administration's policies. That's not how it's supposed to work. They voted 7 times against funding DHS over partisan and political reasons. And so, again, the president has stepped in to do the right thing at this moment in time, but the president is also encouraging Congress to come back to Washington to permanently fix this problem and to fund and reopen the Department of Homeland Security entirely.
Caroline.
Stephen.
Thank you, Caroline. 2 questions, one on TSA, one on Iran. On TSA, for ordinary Americans watching the briefing, how long until everything goes back to normal at airports after the president's action? And then on Iran, on the time frame, President Trump initially said about 4 weeks. Secretary of State Rubio on Friday reportedly said it might be another 2 to 4. Is 2 to 4 the current ballpark that the administration is thinking?
With respect to the timeline, again, the president, commander-in-chief, the Pentagon has always stated 4 to 6 weeks estimated timeline for Operation Epic Fury. We're on day 30 today. So again, you do the math on how much longer the Pentagon needs to fully achieve the objectives of Operation Epic Fury, which I will reiterate: destroy the Iranian Navy, destroy their ballistic missiles, dismantle their missile and drone production infrastructure, significantly weaken their proxies throughout the course of this operation, and then, of course, preventing Iran from ever obtaining a nuclear weapon. To your first question, Stephen, about TSA and airports, nothing will be truly normal again until Democrats do the right thing to fund this agency fully. Again, the president has stepped in the meantime to do what's right to end this crisis that we've had at air travel and at airports across the country in the meantime. But again, Congress needs to come back. Democrats need to fund the Department of Homeland Security so we can formally and fully get these great employees paid long into the future. Jonathan.
Thanks a lot, Caroline. 2 questions regarding the financial costs of the war. Back during the Persian Gulf War, 1990-1991, Arab countries paid for the vast majority of the cost of the war. Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, the UAE. Who's paying for the cost of this war? Will those Arab countries step up to do just that?
Well, I think it's something the president would be quite interested in calling them to do. I won't get ahead of him on that, but certainly it's an idea that I know that he has and something that I think you'll hear more from him on.
And then secondly, the cost of diesel is averaging at $5.38 a gallon right now. What's the message from the Trump administration to truck drivers who are dealing with those high fuel costs right now?
Again, we understand, we hear you, we see you. We are fully tracking this short-term fluctuation in oil and in diesel prices. And that's why the president and the administration have continually announced robust actions to provide stability in the global energy market. As you know, political risk insurance, one of those actions, allowing countries to purchase sanctioned oil just to increase the supply. In the meantime,
all right.
we've worked
I'm good.
to
I'm good. But I do have this spot-on analysis that has been shared and is being shared at the highest levels of the United States government. Are you ready? The war the cameras are not showing you. 3 cargo ships hit near the Strait of Hormuz. A Thai bulk carrier burning. A Japanese container vessel tagged. Every pundit on television is asking the same question. Is Iran winning? They are looking at the wrong scoreboard. Here is the number nobody is talking about. Day 1, over 400 ballistic missiles, over 700 drones. Every launcher active. Every magazine emptied. The full 40-year output of the Islamic Republic fired in a single day. Day 10, 40 missiles, 60 drones, a reduction of more than 90%. The supreme leader is still calling for total war. The IRGC commander is still threatening American forces. The rhetoric has not declined by a single decibel. Only the weapons have. Pundits ask tactical questions. How do we stop the fast boats? How do we protect the tankers? How do we clear the mines? Those are the questions of people who have never read an engineering textbook. Well, that's me. Engineers ask a different question. Where did those weapons come from, and is that factory still standing? Actually, I don't think engineers actually ask that question, but whatever. All right, he is actually getting a few things wrong here in how he's characterizing pundits and what they say on TV, and actually no pundits don't ask, they answer. The good ones and the bad ones. But let's give this guy another shot. This is not a war of fast boats and burning tankers. This is a war between consumption and production, and there are only two numbers that matter. How fast Iran is burning through its stockpile and how fast it can manufacture replacements. When the first number permanently exceeds the second, the war is over. Everything after that is just running out the clock. Iran understood asymmetric warfare better than most. Asymmetric warfare. What is that? A great big superpower going up against a ragtag guerrilla militia, and somehow the ragtag guerrilla militia holds its own. That's asymmetric warfare. Totally out of balance. The superpower should have every advantage, but it doesn't. For instance, a $50,000 fast boat against a $2 billion destroyer. That exchange ratio wins every time at the tactical level. Iran calculated that America did not have enough interceptors to stop every drone, enough missiles to sink every fast boat. They were right. At the tactical level, the math was perfect. But America is not fighting at the tactical level. America is fighting at the industrial level. Okay, I'm listening. In 1943, Germany built the best tank on earth, the Tiger I, superior in every one-on-one engagement. America did not try to out-engineer it. America built 49,000 Shermans against 1,400 Tigers. The Tiger was a masterpiece. The Sherman was a production line. The production line won. Now, look at the map. Sharud, one of Iran's most critical missile complexes, responsible for the solid fuel rocket motors that power its longest-range ballistic missiles. Solid fuel assembly requires specialized chemistry, controlled atmospheres, and production infrastructure that takes years to build. Satellite imagery confirms extensive destruction. That line is gone. Parshin, the military complex housing Iran's solid propellant production facilities, hit. Kojir, the IRGC's primary center for surface-to-surface missile development on the outskirts of Tehran, hit. Saled Aviation Industries in Isfahan, the factory that built the Shahed series drones Iran exported to Russia and launched against Israel, hit. A ballistic missile is not one weapon. It is a convergence of four independent systems: solid fuel, metal casing, guidance package, and a transporter erector launcher. You do not need to destroy all four. You need to destroy the hardest one to replace. The replacement timeline for solid fuel production infrastructure is not months, it is years. The fast boat equation is harder. And we will be honest about it. The IRGC operates more than 1,500 fast attack craft. Small, cheap, built from fiberglass hulls and outboard engines. You cannot destroy them the way you destroy a missile factory because there is no single factory. There are hundreds of sheds along Iran's coastline. This part of the equation has not been fully solved. But the hull is not the weapon. The weapon is the anti-ship missile mounted on it. And those missiles are manufactured at the same facilities in Isfahan and Parshin that are now wreckage. A fast boat without its missile is a fishing vessel with a machine gun. A fishing vessel with a machine gun does not close a strait. Now, address the question every viewer is thinking. 3 ships still got hit. Why is that? Because those ships were not under American escort. They were not ordered through CENTCOM. They entered the strait on their own against warnings, against intelligence, advisories, against every flag. That corridor was a kill zone. The shipping companies looked at the war risk premium, $250,000 per transit, looked at the price of crude and gambled. 3 of them lost. The United States Navy did not gamble because one mine under an Arleigh Burke means $89.5 million in repairs and sailors evacuated to Germany. That is not a hypothetical. That is the USS Samuel Roberts in 1988, one of $1,500 contract mines that broke the keel and flooded 2 compartments. One torpedo from a midget submarine means a $2 billion ship and 300 sailors for one transit. Yikes. He's right. The shipping companies were impatient. We were not, because we do not need to solve the equation inside the strait. We are solving it outside at the source. Every night, another assembly line goes dark. Every week, the stockpile shrinks. Every month, the threat inside the strait decreases. Not because we cleared it with escorts, but because the enemy is running out of things to shoot. Iran believed cheap weapons would always defeat expensive ones. At the tactical level, that was true. But America did not fire Tomahawk missiles at fast boats. America bolted a $20,000 GPS guidance kit onto a $4,000 bomb and dropped it on the factories that built every weapon Iran owns. A $25,000 package erased 6 decades of investment. Admiral Cooper said it plainly. Since the first 24 hours, Iranian missile and drone attacks have dropped drastically. He did not say Iran chose to stop. He said the attacks dropped. Iran is not exercising restraint. Iran is running out of things to shoot off, not to shoot, to fire. Industrial warfare has only one outcome. The side that cannot rebuild loses. The enemy does not surrender because the bombs stop falling. The enemy surrenders because the factories stop producing. The warehouses go empty. And the last missile in the last launcher is the last missile that will ever be built. That is not firepower. That is industrial calculus. I like this guy. I like him a lot. Finally, a little bit of professional perspective. M.A. Rothman, who is an engineer, inventor, USA Today, best-selling novelist, U.S.-Israeli born. How about that? I like him. And it makes a lot of sense. Not foolproof, but pretty damn good. Thank you, sir. Experts say this flu season is the worst we've seen in 25 years. Either way, you know how this goes. Every year, someone in my family gets sick, then everybody gets sick, and suddenly you're fighting to see a doctor. We're stuck waiting in a crowded urgent care. But not this year. I'm ready. I ordered a medical emergency kit, and it's been a lifesaver. My kit is stocked with essential prescription medications, antibiotics like a generic Z-Pak to help you recover faster, amoxicillin for pneumonia, strep throat, and ear infections, plus prescriptions for nausea, UTIs, and yes, even ivermectin. It's simple. Match your symptoms in the guidebook or call the telemedicine doctor standing by. Start treatment early and feel better faster. No waiting rooms, no pharmacy lines. I love my medical emergency kit, and you should get one too. I got you $45 off when you use my code Greg. Go to urgentcarekit.com/Greg. That's urgentcarekit.com/Greg. urgentcarekit.com. Promo code Greg.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
800-8489-222. 800-8489-222. Let me see what the hell's going on here. The U.S. Army has launched an investigation after a military helicopter was flying low near Kid Rock's Nashville home on Saturday, according to Reuters. The helicopter flew by Rock's 27,000 square foot White House replica home. A U.S. official confirmed that this indeed did happen, and the Army is investigating how this happened. An administrative review is underway to assess the mission and verify compliance with regulations and airspace requirements. Appropriate action will be taken if any violations are found here. I see a great big Army. That's not a Black Hawk. That's an Apache. That's an Apache helicopter. Who the hell called it a Black Hawk? Black Hawk. That's an Apache. A deadly aircraft. Yes, Fred. Hello.
Hey, Greg. Great to talk to you again. Your viral tweet last week about tattoos was amazing. I've always found it self-destructive and it just doesn't make any sense. But Friday, watching your show, I realized for the first time that Kent is always wearing long sleeves, and you could see the video that you showed on your show on Friday that his sleeve tattoo bypassed his long sleeves. I wonder if there's any pictures of him without a shirt, because I assure you, this guy is self-abusive and has tattoos going up his entire arms, if not the rest of his upper torso.
Oh, yeah, well, he definitely has them all over his arms, and you can see pictures of him with his sleeves rolled up. In fact, on the Sean Ryan podcast, he's sitting there with his sleeves rolled up. And you can see him. I mean, you can't see what they are, but you can tell he's got, like, tattoos everywhere. And there are pictures of him online. Yeah, I think it's silly. I think it's a way for, ordinary people to feel distinctive, or anybody to feel distinctive without doing the work to actually be distinctive. And it's a fake tough guy routine. I can't stand it. It's unprofessional. It used to be kind of very rare in the military. Now it even seems like it's a requirement. So, at Greg Kelly USA, let me see, what the hell did I tweet? Because I got email about it, I got this, I got that. I got a lot of people saying, how dare you, and STFU, shut the FU up. Let's see here. And there's a picture of that guy right there with his damned hands. All right, what did I say? Where is this dumb thing? Twitter can be a big waste of time, but it's also fun as hell. Here we go. What the hell is up with all these tattoos everywhere? Back in the day, only sailors got them when they were drunk in the Philippines. Then it became a thing with strippers in the 90s. Now I see dentists, teachers, nurses, interns all tatted up. My theory is an easy, quick way to feel distinctive and special without doing the work to be distinctive and special. Too much ink and selfies, not enough grit, hashtag tats are silly. And I got pictures of a bunch of people, including women. Hey, by the way, I find some of them alluring, to be honest. I do. But I think it's a mark of a culture in decline. Fred, thank you. All right? You good?
Thank you, sir.
You bet. You bet. Pat is next. Hello, Pat.
Hello, Greg. Good afternoon. I want to talk about my experience at the motor vehicle to getting my ID in order. I had all pieces of everything I needed: birth certificate, divorce papers that showed the name change of my maiden name. I mean, I had everything, the Social Security.
What happened?
And they said that they picked out, well, you don't have your marriage certificate. No, I didn't have my marriage certificate, but you saw the name change on the divorce papers. So now I have to get that marriage certificate, and no, I'm not getting the marriage certificate. I'm going back again and retrying the whole process because that's ridiculous. I tried to get the marriage certificate. That also is a pain in the neck.
It sounds ridiculous, but look, we've all been to the DMV where they say you need one more thing, one more thing, and those lines go on forever. Check it out online before you go back, all right? Check it out online. You might know your rights better than the clerk.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?